According to the World Health Organization, a few decades back diabetes was an uncommon disease, in both developed and developing countries. Today, the story is different. It is currently estimated that over 143 million people worldwide are affected by the disease. This figure is ever increasing. By 2020, over 220 million people are expected to be living with diabetes, if the current trend continues. In the United States alone, there are 18.2 million people, 6.3% of the population, living with diabetes, while another 13 million people have been diagnosed with diabetes. Unfortunately, 5.2 million, or nearly one-third, are unaware that they have the disease. What is diabetes? Diabetes mellitus, or simply diabetes, is derived from the Greek word, diabenon, meaning, to pass through, describing copious urination, and mellitus from the Latin word meaning, sweetened with honey. These two words signify sweetened urine or sugar in the urine. Diabetes is a disease in which the body does not produce or properly use insulin. Insulin is a hormone that is needed, in the body, to control the rate at which sugar, starch, and other food are converted into glucose required as energy for daily life. The hormone is produced and released into the blood by an organ called pancreas. This insulin helps to maintain the blood glucose level within a normal range. The World Health Organization (WHO) puts this normal range between 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter before taking any food for the day, hence this value is called fasting blood glucose. In health, despite several demands for glucose in different situations, the blood glucose rarely exceeds this value. After a meal, the liver stores the glucose from the meal as glycogen and releases it into the blood in between meals. The role of insulin is the control of this storage and release of glucose. It ensures that the amount of glucose in the blood at every particular time does not go beyond or below the normal range. Types of diabetes. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), 5 classes of diabetes are recognized. These are, number 1. Insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus, IDDM, or type 1 diabetes, number 2. Non-insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus, NIDDM, or type 2 diabetes, number 3. Gestational diabetes, number 4. Diabetes insipidus, and number 5. Bronze diabetes. Insulin-dependent type 1 diabetes. This type of diabetes was initially called juvenile onset diabetes because it affects adolescents and young adults. It is caused by a sudden failure of the pancreas to produce insulin. It is, therefore, an acute disease, presenting with thirst, polyuria, passing large amounts of urine, diuresis, and weight loss. Type 1 diabetes is not common, it accounts for less than 10% of all diabetes cases. Non-insulin dependent type 2 diabetes. This is the most prevalent type of diabetes, accounting for more than 80% of all diabetic cases. It is found in adults and the elderly. This type of diabetes develops gradually over a long period of time unnoticed, and is characterized by insufficient insulin, deficient insulin in the blood, or the inability of the body to utilize the insulin resistance. Because of its slow and gradual occurrence, it is mostly undetected until one or more of its long-term complications appear. Unlike in type 1 diabetes, the insulin in the blood of a type 2 diabetic may be normal or even high, but lacks the desired effect, due to insulin resistance, and this is prevalent among obese people. Gestational diabetes. This type of diabetes occurs during pregnancy and disappears after delivery, within 3 weeks. An estimated 3% of all pregnancies are accompanied by gestational diabetes, and almost half of these patients are prone to developing permanent diabetes later in life. What causes diabetes? As with hypertension and other non-communicable diseases, no clear-cut causes can be attributed to the most prevalent type of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes being secondary to failure of the pancreas. However, some factors are known to increase one's chances of becoming diabetic, and these are called risk factors. For example, indolent and well-fed populations are 2 to 20 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than the active and lean population of the same race. Some other factors known to increase one's chance of getting diabetes include obesity. It is estimated that three-quarters of all type 2 diabetes patients are obese. Indolent and affluent lifestyles tend to contribute to this. It is believed that a 10 kg loss of weight can reduce the fasting blood sugar level by almost 50 mg per deciliter. An active lifestyle with frequent exercise is also known to increase insulin sensitivity. The international standard for measuring overweight and obesity is based on a value called body mass index (BMI). This value is derived by dividing the body weight in kilograms by the square of height in meters. I.e. BMI equals body weight kilogram height 2 meters. Note, 1 foot equals 0.305 meters. For adults, a BMI of less than 25 kilograms per square meter is preferred. 25 to 29 kilograms per square meter is considered overweight and above 30 kilograms per square meter is obesity. Risk of getting diabetes. Number 1. Family history. A family history of diabetes increases one's chances of getting the disease. In such a situation, leading a healthy lifestyle and constant monitoring of one's blood sugar level becomes very important. Number 2. Age and race. Most type 2 diabetes patients are over 40 years at the presentation of the disease. However, the proportion of the increase in the incidence of this disease with age is higher for those with a family history of diabetes, obese, and probably those leading sedentary lifestyles. Moreover, diabetes tends to be more prevalent among Africans, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and Asian Americans. Belonging to any of the races is a risk factor in itself. Number 3. History of gestational diabetes. In a woman also increases her possibility of developing permanent diabetes later in life. You can prevent delay diabetes. Diabetes has no permanent cure once it develops, it is managed all through life. But you can prevent ever falling into this lifelong pain. Before diabetes present in people, it is almost always preceded by a situation called prediabetes. A situation where the blood glucose is higher than normal, but not yet enough to be diagnosed as diabetes. Saddening, however, you cannot know when you fall into this category, if you have not been monitoring your blood glucose regularly. Prediabetes is itself a serious medical situation, though can still be reversed by making changes in diet pattern and increasing physical activity. To determine one's blood sugar, a test called fasting blood glucose has to be conducted. This test measures the amount of glucose sugar in one's blood before taking any meal for the day. It is measured in milligrams per deciliter, milligram per deciliter. A value below 100 milligrams per deciliter is generally accepted to be normal, while a value greater than 100 milligrams per deciliter but less than 120 milligrams per deciliter is not full diabetes yet, so it is regarded as prediabetes. An individual with a pre-diabetes blood glucose level needs to take urgent steps to reduce his blood glucose or risk lifelong diabetes. It should be emphasized, however, that the racial and genetic factors predisposing to diabetes are still beyond human comprehension and control. It makes common sense, therefore, to reduce all human controllable factors to the barest minimum. Most of these factors have to do with social, occupational, and diet habits. The following tips can help reduce your diabetes risk. Reduce weight. Obesity seems to be the single most significant factor in diabetes. Reducing body weight and fat and maintaining average body weight is very essential. To this end, a body mass index (BMI) less than 25 kilograms per square meter for males and less than 24 kilograms per square meter for females is recommended. Increase physical activity. It is an established fact that diabetes is more common among people that lead a sedentary affluent lifestyle. Simple dynamic exercises like brisk walking for 30 to 50 minutes daily or 3 to 5 times weekly has been shown to be very helpful. Exercise reduces body weight and fat, increases the functionality of the heart, reduces the chances of diabetes, and also boosts emotions and healthy living. Cut down or cut out alcohol. Alcoholic intake of more than 2 units per day has been shown to adversely affect the body. Alcohol is an addictive drug that makes it very difficult to maintain a definite amount of intake for a long time. It is better therefore to strive to cut out alcohol completely. Avoid smoking. Cigarette smoke has been shown to contain several poisonous substances. Cigarette smoking and alcohol have been related to several diseases. Stopping smoking will definitely reduce the chances of several other ailments apart from diabetes. Learn good eating habits, such as cut down on fatty food and junks. Eat more of fish and poultry, without the skin is better. Garlic reduces blood pressure cholesterol. Add it to your meal plan once in a while. X. Cut the number of eggs you take to 3 to 4 weekly, better boiled than fried. X. Reduce salt intake to less than 5.8 grams daily. She. Eat more vegetables and a fiber-rich food, especially fruits. XII. Finally, constantly monitor your fasting blood glucose, as this is the only way to know when you are getting into trouble. Conclusion: diabetes and hypertension being so interlinked requires a comprehensive plan of care, and this revolves around one's dietary habits, social and environmental factors. Several lifestyle changes like regular exercise, maintaining moderate body weight, reduction of fat intake, and high-fiber diet all help to live a normal healthy life. These measures are known to increase insulin sensitivity and also reduce blood pressure. Conclusively, it is very important to create a more health-conscious individual in the populace. People who practically believe that it is better and cheaper to prevent an illness than to treat it when it has become stronger. Moreover, preventive health cannot be divorced from regular medical checks, as these two go hand in hand. There is no way to detect several non-communicable diseases without undergoing regular medical checks. The importance of these checks cannot be overemphasized. Be alive to your health. Know your blood glucose values and live a healthier life free from the pains of diabetes. If you want to learn more about how to prevent diabetes or control your diabetes to live longer and avoid the risk of losing any part of your body, kindly click the link directly behind this video to learn more. Kindly do it now because the link would not be available for too long. Click now to learn more. If you love and appreciate this video, kindly subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon button so that you can get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you for your time. Stay safe and stay protected.